The battle rap legend Pat Stay has sadly died at the age of 36. Here's an excerpt from a piece that CNN put out, and as usual, any articles or references that I make in my episodes, I try to link to them to the source material in the episode notes so that you fine folks can read it or view it in its full context if you so choose. Quote, rapper Pat Stay has died following a stabbing incident in Nova Scotia, Canada, according to regional police. He was 36. The incident happened in downtown Halifax early Sunday morning, September 4th, 2022. Police discovered Stay with stab wounds and transported him to a nearby hospital where he later died, end quote. Now, other accounts of the incident that I've heard were that he was trying to break up a fight at this yacht club party that he was at, and that the person who allegedly killed him stabbed him up while he was on the dance floor, and Pat made his way outside of the club where he collapsed, and then that's where he was later found by the police. In another article by All Hip Hop, they state that, quote, in a press release distributed on Sunday afternoon, police say they have arrested but not yet charged a 31-year-old man in relation to the homicide death on the 1600 block of Lower Water Street, end quote. Now, the dude that's in custody, his name is Adam Drake, and here's his rap sheet, which is mind-boggling how someone like this is out on the street, but that just goes to show and highlight the holes within our criminal justice system. And I know Canada is obviously not the same as the United States, but I think in this case it's very relatable. Adam Drake in 2013 was charged with attempted murder and about a dozen other charges, and the victim in that case refused to cooperate, and the charges were forced to be dropped because the victim refused to cooperate. Then in 2016, he was about to stand trial for a first-degree murder charge, and prior to the case, a quote-unquote reasonable prospect of conviction did not exist, according to the DA, and the charges were again dropped. And this shit pisses me off on multiple levels, because it feels like based on those very serious charges, this dude was able to be free and walk the streets based on technicalities. And I know our criminal justice system gets it right more than it gets it wrong. And again, I know that this is Canada versus the US, which is where my main frame of reference is coming from. But I feel that we shouldn't be okay with getting it right, quote unquote, most of the time. You know, to quote the Chris Rock bit, you know, you don't want a brain surgeon or a pilot that completes his job and does the job successfully, quote unquote, most of the time. We should strive for perfection and to shore up these holes in our system. Will we achieve perfection? Probably not. Nothing's perfect, right? But there seems to be like a complacency with just the way things are. That's the way the system is. That's the way shit works. It's like, nah, man. A piece of shit like that shouldn't be out on the street. And obviously, I'm going to be on the Pat Stay side of things, just because I've been a fan of his and of battle rap in general for many years. So objectively, I know that I'd be biased if this was some sort of, you know, more than what has been reported and rumored of it just being in, you know, an altercation at a club, a random act. If it did come to light that there was some like background story there and some beef, obviously I'd be in the Pat Stay quote unquote camp due to my bias, but I think I'm able to keep the same objective take and maintain the same energy all around in terms of that guy being a piece of shit, has a track record of being a piece of shit, and is overdue and deserving of everything he has coming to him. For those of you who don't know who Pat Stay is, or perhaps aren't battle rap fans, he was arguably Canada's #1 battle rapper. And I hesitantly say arguably because in the conversation of Canada's battle rap scene, he's going to be most folks 1 or 2. KOTD, King of the Dot, is one of the biggest battle rap leagues that are out there worldwide. And some might even argue he's one of the best battle rappers, period, across, you know, any league, any forum. Smack, RBE, etc. He was definitely one of my favorites because he could write on so many levels. He was funny in a way that would disarm his opponents. and obviously entertain the fuck out of the crowd. Super funny. He can match you with gun bars, ignorant shit, braggadocious shit. He'll sprinkle messages and life lessons throughout his raps. He'd write really introspective verses as well. He was even good at like the nice battles, which are kind of corny, but from a creative writing perspective, I think it shows like a different layer of cleverness and creativity. So I appreciate them from that perspective. But for those of you who don't know, like a nice battle would be where you can only say nice shit about your opponent. He was even good at that. And he was so big within his space that he had a lot of hip hop heavyweights weighing in on what happened, tweeting about him, putting out videos about him, like Eminem, Royce the 5'9", Wyclef, Method Man, Joel Ortiz, Drake, obviously, who's like a staple within that Canadian KOTD rap league, and you know he's always going to different battle rap events and shit. So it's cool to see. It's cool, and by cool, you know, I mean obviously within this like very sad, we all wish this didn't happen scenario, but it's cool to see the hip hop community, the battle rap community coming together, his peers showing respect, and like the Math Hoffas, for example, did a dope tribute episode on his podcast, which I'll link to in the episode notes. And I think that's one of the biggest testaments of someone's contribution to their craft, to have your peers respect and revere you while you're here and even after you're gone. And that to me is a true testament to how ill he was. And I missed this entire news, by the way. That's why I'm putting this out kind of late. It happened on September 4th. This episode's coming out on September 29th. Because I was in vacation to DR for a couple weeks and was like unplugged from things. And the way I caught it actually was through one of Goods' posts, those like in the car impromptu freestyles that he does and puts on IG. And Good said something to the effect of RIP Pat Stay. And then I was thinking, I was like, what? Why did he say that? Like, did I miss a battle of theirs and he like 3-0'd him, or like what's going on there? Did Pat Stay like recently battle somebody and got 3-0'd or something? Like, I thought it was something like that. And then I like Googled RIP Pat Stay, and then I see like all the news like flooding in, obviously. Fucking sad shit, man. There is a GoFundMe for his family. You know, Pat Stay had 2 small kids. The picture of the GoFundMe is fucking heartbreaking. Reminds me of my kids. Just like him hugging his son. And it's just fucking sad. Heartbreaking, man. I will link to that in the episode notes as well, so you can support and contribute. Folks have contributed over like $200,000 already. My understanding is that that's going directly to his wife and kids and like his family. And I definitely recommend just checking out some of his work, his battles where he was a behemoth, like I just went over, some of his commercial stuff. He recently actually put out a diss to Game, because Game, you know, publicly like dissed Eminem and shit. And Pat Stay put out like a music video about a week or 2 before his death, dissing the Game. And I'll actually link to in the episode notes a dope compilation of all his best rounds within battle rap. And there's a bunch, like every battle rapper has like tons and tons, like dozens of different compilations of like their funniest bars, their hardest bars, their best rounds, etc. But this is a dope one called Best Bars from Pat Stay, RIP Legend, GOAT. I'll link to that in the episode notes. And let me just give a shout out to the channel, the dude that put it out, Spasmatic Entertainment. I think this is a really good compilation because it shows his range. It shows like the funny shit, the hard shit, old stuff, new stuff. It'll give you a good sense of his place within battle rap, which will be forever cemented, in my opinion. Rest in peace, Pat Stay. My condolences to his family. The sucker-free boss. Look at you go.